In Islam, understanding death is crucial. It's not the end, but a transition to another life. This life is a test, and death is the doorway to our eternal destination. How we live our lives determines where we spend eternity. This essay explores the Islamic perspective on the differences between the deaths of believers and non-believers. We will delve into the spiritual and physical aspects of death, supported by Quranic verses and hadiths. The differences in the deaths of believers and non-believers highlight the importance of faith and righteous actions in Islam. They remind us that this temporary life pales compared to the eternal afterlife. By understanding these concepts, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the purpose of our existence and strive to live a life pleasing to Allah. For believers, death is a blessed event, a transition from the temporal world to the eternal. It is not a moment of fear, but a moment of hope and fulfillment. Their faith and good deeds ease their transition to the afterlife. The prayers they have offered, the charity they have given, and the kindness they have shown all come together to pave their way to a peaceful departure. Allah sends angels of mercy to comfort them in their final moments. These angels, with their radiant presence, bring a sense of calm and serenity, assuring the believer that they are not alone. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "When the believer is about to depart from this world and go forward into the hereafter, angels with faces as bright as the sun descend from heaven to him. These angels are a sign of the divine mercy and love that awaits the believer. These angels gently remove the soul from the body, saying, 'Come out, O good soul, come out to the forgiveness and pleasure of your Lord.' The soul is treated with utmost care and respect, reflecting the honor that the believer has earned through their faith. The believer's soul is then wrapped in a fragrant shroud and carried to the heavens. This shroud is not just any cloth, but one that is filled with the fragrance of paradise, symbolizing the purity and sanctity of the soul. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "The souls of the believers are in the crops of green birds, which have their lamps hanging from the throne." These birds symbolize the freedom and joy that the soul experiences in the afterlife, basking in the divine light and presence. For non-believers, death is a terrifying experience. Their lack of faith and unrepentant sins make their transition to the afterlife incredibly difficult. Instead of angels of mercy, they are met by angels of punishment. The Quran describes this moment. "And if you could but see when the angels take the souls of those who disbelieved, striking their faces and their backs, the angels harshly remove the soul from the body, saying, 'Come out, O evil soul. Come out to the wrath and anger of your Lord.' The non-believer's soul is then shackled and dragged to the heavens. The Quran states, 'And if you could but see when the wrongdoers are in the agonies of death, while the angels are stretching forth their hands, saying, "Discharge your souls." The contrasting roles of angels in the deaths of believers and non-believers highlight the importance of our choices in this life. Angels of mercy, radiating light and tranquility, accompany believers. They represent Allah's forgiveness and compassion. Conversely, angels of punishment, exuding darkness and terror, confront non-believers. They symbolize Allah's justice and wrath towards those who reject His guidance. This stark contrast underscores the significance of faith and righteous deeds. It serves as a reminder that our actions have consequences not only in this life but also in the hereafter. The angel's presence emphasizes that death is not the end, but a transition to a realm where we will be held accountable for our choices. The soul's journey, a believer's ascent. This journey is a profound and deeply spiritual experience filled with divine encounters and celestial wonders. After death, the believer's soul embarks on an upward journey, leaving behind the physical realm and entering a state of spiritual elevation. The angels, as divine messengers, carry the soul to the heavens, passing through different levels of the celestial hierarchy, each more magnificent than the last. At each level, the righteous souls are greeted by previous prophets and believers, who welcome them with open arms and joyous hearts, celebrating their arrival. The Quran mentions this ascent, those whose souls the angels take while they are virtuous, saying to them, "Peace be upon you, enter paradise for what you used to do." Quran 16:32. This verse highlights the reward for a life well lived in faith and righteousness. Finally, the soul reaches a point where it can see its eternal abode in paradise, a place of unimaginable beauty and peace prepared for the faithful. This glimpse brings immense joy and peace to the believer's soul, a reward for their unwavering faith and devotion throughout their earthly life. The prophet, peace be upon him, said, "When the soul of a believer reaches this point, a door to paradise is opened for it, and it remains in that state until the day of resurrection." Sunan Ibn Majah. This promise offers comfort and hope, assuring believers of their place in the eternal paradise. The soul's journey, a non-believer's descent. In contrast, the non-believer's soul experiences a harrowing descent, a journey fraught with fear and suffering. The angels drag the soul down to the lowest levels, where it encounters the souls of other disbelievers and evildoers, each facing their own unique torments. The Quran describes this descent, and those whose souls the angels take while they are wronging themselves, the angels will say, "Where were you in error?" This question echoes through the soul, a reminder of their earthly misdeeds. They will say, "We were oppressed in the land." This excuse, however, holds no weight in the face of divine judgment. They will say, "Was not the earth of Allah spacious enough for you to emigrate therein?" The vastness of the earth was a test, one they failed to heed. For those, their refuge is hell, and evil it is as a destination. Quran 4:97. The flames of hell are a constant reminder of their choices. At each level, the non-believer's soul faces torment and despair, reflecting the consequences of their disbelief and sinful actions. The suffering is unending, a stark contrast to the peace promised to the faithful. The Quran states, "And whoever disobeys Allah and His Messenger and transgresses His limits, He will put him into the fire to abide eternally therein, and he will have a humiliating punishment." Quran 4:14. This eternal punishment serves as a dire warning to all who stray from the path of righteousness. The interrogation in the grave. The interrogation in the grave, a preview of judgment. Both believers and non-believers undergo an interrogation in the grave by angels Munkar and Nakir. This interrogation serves as a preview of the final judgment on the day of resurrection. The angels question the deceased about their Lord, their religion, and their prophet. Believers, strengthened by their faith, can answer these questions with confidence. Their graves expand, filled with light and tranquility, providing a glimpse of the paradise that awaits them. Non-believers, however, struggle to answer, their graves constricting around them, offering a taste of the hellfire that awaits. The bliss of Barzakh, a taste of paradise for believers. After the interrogation in the grave, the believer's soul enters a state called Barzakh, a waiting period until the day of judgment. During this time, the souls of believers experience immense bliss and peace. They are reunited with loved ones who passed away before them, further adding to their joy. The prophet, peace be upon him, said, "The graves are either gardens from the gardens of paradise or pits from the fire." The believer's grave becomes a garden from paradise, reflecting the beauty and tranquility that awaits them. The torment of Barzakh, a glimpse of hell for non-believers. For non-believers, Barzakh is a period of torment and anguish. They experience a taste of the hellfire that awaits them, filled with darkness, despair, and unbearable suffering. Their graves become pits from hell, reflecting the horrifying reality of their eternal destination. The contrasting experiences of believers and non-believers in Barzakh serve as a powerful reminder of the consequences of our choices. It emphasizes the importance of seeking Allah's forgiveness and striving for righteousness in this life to secure a peaceful and blissful afterlife. The Day of Judgment, the final verdict. The Day of Judgment marks the end of Barzakh and the beginning of eternity. On this day, all souls will be resurrected and gathered before Allah for their final judgment. The Quran describes this day, "And the horn will be blown, and whoever is in the heavens and whoever is on the earth will fall dead except whom Allah wills. Then it will be blown again, and at once they will be standing, looking on. Allah will judge each person based on their deeds and beliefs. Believers will be granted entry into paradise, an eternal abode of unimaginable bliss. Non-believers will be cast into hellfire, an eternal abode of unimaginable suffering." The significance of belief, a lesson for the living. The differences between the deaths of believers and non-believers in Islam offer profound lessons for the living. They underscore the paramount importance of faith, righteous actions, and seeking Allah's forgiveness. These differences remind us that this temporary life is but a preparation for the eternal afterlife. By reflecting on these concepts, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the purpose of our existence. We are encouraged to strive for righteousness, not out of fear but out of love for Allah and a desire to attain His pleasure. Ultimately, the choice is ours to make. Will we live a life that leads to a peaceful and blissful end, or will we face the consequences of our disbelief and sinful actions?